1. Which of the following is the most effective way to teach a new driver hazard perception skills? A. Lecturing on traffic laws only. B. Demonstrating through real-life driving scenarios. C. Asking them to memorize the road signs. D. Assigning reading material only. 2. When evaluating a learner driver's readiness for independent driving, which assessment method is most comprehensive? A. Written multiple choice test. B. Observation during practical driving. C. Oral questioning only. D. Peer feedback. 3. What is a key principle of adult learning when mentoring learner drivers? A. Adults learn best through rote memorization. B. Adults prefer learning in passive settings. C. Adults learn best when content is relevant to their experience. D. Adults cannot be self-directed in learning. 4. Which of the following communication techniques enhances understanding during driver instruction? A. Using technical jargon frequently. B. Providing clear, concise instructions and feedback. C. Speaking rapidly to maintain attention. D. Limiting feedback to the end of the session. 5. A learner driver consistently fails to check mirrors before lane changes. Which mentoring approach is most effective? A. Reprimanding immediately in a harsh tone. B. Modeling the correct behavior and providing guided practice. C. Ignoring the mistake to avoid discouragement. D. Only explaining verbally without demonstration. 6. According to RSA standards, what is the maximum legal blood alcohol concentration, B8, for a learner driver? A. 0.05%, B. 0.08%, C. 0.00%, D. 0.02%. 7. Which evaluation method best measures a learner driver's practical decision-making in complex traffic situations? A. Multiple choice theory test. B. Practical on-road assessment with an instructor. C. Self-assessment questionnaire. D. Peer observation. 8. How should an instructor handle a learner driver who becomes anxious during lessons? A. Pause the lesson and discuss coping strategies. B. Continue the lesson to build endurance. C. Ignore the anxiety as it will resolve naturally. D. Ask them to stop driving permanently. 9. Which curriculum design principle is critical when developing an RSA driving course? Emphasizing theoretical content only. B. Sequencing learning activities from simple to complex. C. Using only online modules. D. Avoiding practical exercises. 10. When teaching a learner driver about stopping distances, which method is most effective? A. Providing a diagram only. B. Demonstrating stopping distances in real-world conditions. C. Asking them to read the traffic manual. D. Giving a verbal explanation without demonstration. 11. Which mentoring technique encourages reflective learning in driving practice? A. Immediate correction without discussion. B. Encouraging the learner to analyze their own driving performance. C. Observing silently without feedback. D. Allowing learners to drive without guidance. 12. During an RSA test, which maneuver is commonly assessed for precision and control? Parallel parking. B. Accelerating on a highway. C. Adjusting mirrors. D. Observing speed limits. 13. In adult learning, why is feedback most effective when it is immediate and specific? It confuses the learner. B. It allows the learner to connect the feedback to the exact behavior. C. It discourages mistakes. D. It replaces self-reflection. 14. Which of the following is a regulatory requirement for all learner drivers under RSA guidelines? A. Carrying a licensed driver at all times. B. Driving without supervision on highways. C. Ignoring speed limits under certain conditions. D. Using a mobile phone for navigation while driving. 15. When evaluating a learner-driver's hazard perception, which scenario provides the most accurate assessment? A. Simulated driving with controlled risks. B. Observation in low-traffic areas only. C. Watching instructional videos only. D. Written descriptions of hazards. 16. Which approach aligns with adult learning theory when designing a driving instruction program? A. Using monotone lectures for all lessons. B. Integrating problem-solving activities into driving sessions. C. Limiting interaction to observation. D. Avoiding real-world driving scenarios. 17. What is the primary purpose of a pre-drive briefing in RSA driver instruction? A. To test theoretical knowledge. B. To prepare the learner mentally for practical exercises and discuss objectives. C. To reduce the length of the driving lesson. D. To practice administrative paperwork. 18. Which communication strategy is recommended when correcting unsafe driving behavior? A. Criticizing personal character. B. Focusing on specific actions and explaining correct alternatives. C. Using sarcasm to highlight errors. D. Ignoring minor mistakes. 19. Which method best ensures that a learner-driver retains knowledge from a driving lesson? A. Passive listening. B. Active participation, discussion, and reflection. C. Memorization of the driver's handbook. D. Completing theory tests only. 20. How can an instructor ensure compliance with RSA regulations during practical driving assessments? A. Observing learners in any environment. B. Monitoring learner behavior and enforcing legal requirements consistently. C. Ignoring minor infractions for lesson flow. D. Allowing learners to choose their own assessment routes. 21. Which mentoring principle helps build learner confidence during RSA driving lessons? A. Repetition without feedback. B. Providing constructive guidance and positive reinforcement. C. Avoiding correction to prevent stress. D. Testing knowledge frequently without explanation. 22. What is the most effective way to teach learner drivers about night driving safety? A. Lecture about nighttime hazards. B. Supervised night driving with guided feedback. C. Asking learners to read about night driving only. D. Showing videos exclusively. 23. Which assessment method is least effective for evaluating practical driving competency? A. On-road driving tests. B. Observation with scenario-based tasks. C. Written multiple-choice exams. D. Simulated hazard perception tests. 24. Which of the following demonstrates effective curriculum development for RSA training? A. Focusing solely on passing the test. B. Integrating theory, practical skills, and reflective exercises. C. Removing practical components to save time. D. Using a one-size-fits-all approach. 25. How should a mentor address repeated minor traffic violations during lessons? A. Ignore them to prevent learner discouragement. B. Document and discuss patterns, providing corrective guidance. C. Reprimand harshly without explanation. D. End the lesson immediately. 26. Which of the following is a critical adult learning technique during driver instruction? A. Encouraging learners to memorize rules without application. B. Encouraging active problem-solving and scenario analysis. C. Limiting discussion to theoretical concepts. D. Avoiding learner questions to maintain authority. 27. What is the primary role of the instructor in a learner-driver's hazard perception development? A. Ensure learners memorize traffic signs. B. Guide learners to anticipate and respond to potential hazards. C. Allow learners to make mistakes without intervention. D. Focus on vehicle maintenance only. 28. Which strategy enhances learner engagement in driving lessons? A. Passive lecture with minimal interaction. B. Incorporating interactive discussions, demonstrations, and guided practice. C. Avoiding practical exercises for safety reasons. D. Focusing only on written material. 29. How should an instructor evaluate a learner driver's decision making under stress? A. Using real world traffic simulations with supervision. B. Asking hypothetical questions only. C. Observing only in low pressure situations. D. Relying on written exams. 30. In RSA driver education, what is the benefit of reflective journaling after lessons? A. It replaces practical driving. B. It encourages learners to analyze experiences and consolidate learning. C. It ensures immediate skill acquisition. D. It reduces the need for instructor feedback. 31. Which mentoring technique is most effective for reinforcing correct driving habits? A. Repetition and modeling with constructive feedback. Allowing learners to drive unsupervised. C. Emphasizing only the consequences of mistakes. D. Using only verbal instructions. 32. Why is scenario-based assessment important in RSA driving tests? A. It reduces the need for theory testing. B. It evaluates practical skills, judgment, and regulatory compliance in realistic situations. C. It allows learners to memorize answers. D. It simplifies grading for instructors. 33. Which of the following strategies best supports a learner struggling with parallel parking? A. Criticizing performance to motivate improvement. B. Breaking the maneuver into smaller steps and practicing each step with feedback. C. Avoiding practice to prevent stress. D. Demonstrating only once without learner practice.